I have a lovely recipe on this occasion for a beautiful fish cake. So it starts with some leftover mashed potatoes, so never get rid of those potatoes that aren't eaten. Even if you keep them overnight and just microwave them the next day to soften them. That's what I've done here. But the fish on this occasion that I'm going to use is the Atlantic Treasure. I'm using their garlic, herb and spice one. And I'm also using a little bit of the ginger chili and the lime glaze. So there's like an Asian feel going on to this. Perfect for a fish pie. So I've broken up the fish and kept everything in there in the form of all the seasoning that they have. The potato, what I'm going to add to it first is a egg yolk, and it's Margaret's free range egg, just in with the egg yolk. This helps enriching it. It also holds it together better. Just work that in, doesn't take too long just to get that mashed in and through it. It'll get a little bit moist, which is kind of what we want. Now I've already seasoned those potatoes yesterday when I was mashing them. So there's some salt and pepper in there. I'm just going to add a pinch of nutmeg. I'll add another little pinch. Nutmeg is beautiful in a fish pie, absolutely gorgeous. And then to that, when we get that nutmeg in and around it, I'm just going to add in the fish that I want to keep in fairly big pieces there still. So I want it sort of not mashed up, but more pronounced in there, so that we know exactly what we're eating and there's no surprises. So just work that through perfectly like that. And look at that, that will just come together in a lovely balance between the fish, the potato. Look at the egg, how it now works to stick that together. And what we're going to do is we're going to shape that out, but in order to do so, that's perfect, gorgeous. In order to do so, I just want to put some flour onto my board, and then we're going to shape those into beautiful little round, delicious fish cakes that we're then going to pan fry in a little bit of butter in Donegal rapeseed oil. And then I'm going to serve them with a bit of spinach, which is gorgeous, and maybe some toasted sesame seed on the top of that. Okay, so just tip that out of the bowl. Good bit of excess flour and just roll it. Yeah, that's forming together. Now I thought I might have needed to chill that, but I don't. Into a nice cylinder shape. Okay. And if you want, by the way, what you can do is you can roll that in cling film, pop it into your fridge and slice it later on when it's cold. But I don't think there's a need. So I'm just going to try and cut that as best I can. There we go. And now I'm going to reshape that, so don't worry about it. Cut them as even as possible. Perfect. So that's them roughly cut. Bit of excess flour. Just take each one. I'm using a palette knife here. And what we're going to do, look, that just takes it into shape, keeping it nice and round. Flick it over. And that's it. Just push that down one final time. And those are going to hold a beautiful shape, each one of those, for pan frying. Okay, so I have shaped those, and I'm also just heating my pan just to the side. So to pan fry these, you can breadcrumb them if you wish, and put a coating of breadcrumb on them. I actually love them like this when they're pan fried properly, just with a bit of Donegal rapeseed oil and butter, because they just give a lovely golden sort of colour and a bit of a skin on them, and that's really what we're after. Be generous with the butter as well, it'll do you no harm. And there's butter in the potatoes also. So again, just when you're frying in general, have the handle towards yourself, and as you're adding them, add the first one at 12 o'clock and go around the clock. You know then where to turn perfectly. So once that butter is melted, which it almost is, now you don't just fry them in butter, you've got to have oil. Oil and butter together is just going to give you both the best flavour, and the oil will prevent the butter from burning and rise the temperature. So we'll go straight in there now, so 12 o'clock as I said, and then you'll come round sort of as a clock would, without moving your pan too much. There we go. Now these already, there's just the smell of them even with a warm potato just is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, and I have a tray ready, because once these get a little bit of colour underneath, I'm going to turn them over, and then I'm going to sit them into the oven, and then I'm just going to wilt a little bit of spinach to serve with them. But already you can see that the colour and the foam of the butter is giving a nuttiness and a nice crust to these, so we'll just let them sit for about a minute or so. Okay, so it's time to turn them, and if you get a closer look at this, the nice sort of nuttiness and foaminess of the butter in here should give us a good indication. Remember, we're turning at 12 o'clock first. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. That's what we want. That's what I'm after. Just the skin that's on there and a nutty, buttery flavour. Don't they look beautiful? I am absolutely delighted with those. Beautiful colour on either side, and I can hold them, they're nice and firm. So we're just going to transfer them to a tray, okay, and straight into the oven just to keep at a warm temperature. Now in the same pan that has the foam has the butter. I want you just to get some sesame seeds. Now these can be toasted or otherwise. Just about a good tablespoon in there. We'll turn the heat up a little bit, and the lovely toasted flavour of those is beautiful. What'll work in there as well as if you want is a bit of toasted sesame oil, which will just add a gorgeous flavour to it. But also to that with the fish cakes, I want to just rip it nice and gently. A little bit of dill, chopped fennel, either or. Very fine. There's a gorgeous smell coming at me here now immediately. So that is beautiful. And look to that now, the spinach. So all we're doing with that spinach is we are wilting it down, and that will soften in there immediately. And that's it. That's going to be those ready. I don't need to put any seasoning in addition to what's already in those beautiful, beautiful fish pies. So we'll turn off the heat on that. See how it's cleaned the pan up, and we're ready to serve those. Now, they have just kept themselves lovely and warm. So we're going to serve those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit on the base, just in the bottom. A little bit of that gorgeous spinach. And I think I'm going to be generous and go with just two. Beautiful. There's a lovely one with a lovely colour. Okay, and a bit more of that absolutely gorgeous spinach just onto the top of that, and we will be able to finish that off with, look at that, gorgeous, just a beautiful bit of herb. In this case we're going to go for the fennel or dill that's already in there, and if you wish you can put a little drizzle of the rapeseed oil just in the top of that and around. Look at that. So how gorgeous is that? In a matter of minutes, with our beautiful Atlantic treasures, mackerel turned into a beautiful fish cake using some leftover potatoes and serving it with some wilted spinach, sesame seed, Donegal rapeseed oil. It's just absolutely beautiful.